Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to show you the 50-hour maintenance on my Kubota L4060. We got this back at the first of the year. As of today I have 49.1 hours on the machine. I have primarily been using it for yard work and mowing. I have taken it to the construction job site a couple of times to put an egress window in. We had to use the backhoe to dig a big hole next to the house and put an egress in. We used it another time to dig up some drain lines that we had hit while constructing a deck. So taking it out a couple times, used it around the property, and we're using it to mow grass. We're using it's just a King Cutter 72-inch finish mower with 3 blades under it, and I've probably mowed with that 6 or 7 times now. I would say gotten pretty good at taking the backhoe and the front end loader off. I've gotten to where I can probably get both of them done in about 30 to 40 minutes and get the 3-point hitch and the mower back on. At some point I will shoot a video and show you how that's all done. I know a lot of people want to know how the implements come on and off, and I wanted to kind of figure it out myself and understand it before I fumbled through it on video. So at some point I'll try to show you that. The front end loader is actually not attached right now, as you can see. Normally that would line up with that and there'd be a pin through it. I just keep it sitting here to take up less room in the barn. So it's not currently attached, and what I'm going to end up doing here in a minute is moving the tractor over to the other side of the barn so that I can work on it a little more freely. And then we got the backhoe that sits over here, and it's takes up a fair amount of space. Unfortunately, there's not really much you can do about that, so it is what it is. The only maintenance really that I've done so far is just greasing Zerk fittings on the front end loader and on the backhoe and on the tractor and the mower deck. I would imagine that with all 3 implements I've probably got 50 or 60 Zerk fittings that I'm hitting, if not more. I'm still figuring out the best system for the greasing. Right now I'm just using a pistol grip grease gun, which works. It's a little tiresome. I did buy the fitting to go on the end of the grease gun, and that actually has a set of jaws in it that hold right on to the Zerk fitting. It was called a lock and lube grease coupler, about 30 bucks. I bought it at my Kubota dealership, and that has proven to be a little easier. I think I'm going to order a hose extension also, so I can get into some harder to get to spots. And I'm still debating on doing a battery powered grease gun as well. I do the Milwaukee tools, so I've already got the batteries and stuff, and I've debated on doing that. But the dealership, the mechanic there, actually recommended to be very careful if I do, because some fittings you could actually blow out the seals if you put too much grease in, and it's really hard to feel that with a battery powered grease gun. So not sure if I'm gonna do that yet or not, still thinking about it. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut the camera off, and I am going to move the tractor over to the other side of the barn. I'm gonna let it run for a little bit, heat it up so the oil will flow a little easier. I'll get all set up with my oil pans and everything, and then we'll get the oil changed. Okay. All right, so I've let the tractor run for 10 to 15 minutes. I got it nice and warmed up. Show you a little bit here. There's your oil filter right there. If you come underneath of here, you can see the 2 bolts that are right here and right behind it. I don't know if you can see that real well. And I've already broken those loose with a 19mm socket, and it didn't take much at all to break them loose. I got some cardboard down here underneath, and then I got my oil pan. I believe that this calls for 8.7 or 8.9 My L4060 calls for 8.7 quarts of oil. I have purchased 10 quarts total. I got 2 1-gallon containers and 2 quarts. This is Kubota's oil, 15W40. This is what the dealer recommended. Now the owner's manual specifically says you should have SJ4, which I guess I don't fully understand what all of these different letters and numbers mean. I know that this is the weight of the oil, but I don't know what all these different numbers and letters mean. However, what I do know, and I went back in yesterday, because I bought this stuff about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I went back into the Kubota dealership yesterday because I noticed that these quart containers do not say CJ4 on them. And I don't know how big a deal that is, so I went back in and asked them, and they reassured me that this is the proper oil and that they've just changed their bottle and they don't have all the different things listed out on them. So I'm taking their word for it that this stuff is correct. And then here's the filter that I'm using, which is, I don't know if you can see it. It's an HH16432430. That is the filter that they call out for. So that's what I've got. I'm gonna get set up here underneath the tractor and we'll get the oil drained and we'll go from there. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take the plug out here, and it looks like I think there's a washer up here as well. It might be wrong. It's nice they put the 2 plugs right by each other. I'm gonna set this one over here so I keep it in the same location, and then I might wait a second and just make sure I don't put too much oil in here. I don't know how much this one holds. My tag's off of it and I don't remember if it's a 16 quart or what it is. I guess it should be fine. Yeah, it should be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one off. And that is a washer that's stuck up there on the other side, so I'll need to get it off of there and make sure I don't lose it. And I'm gonna go up and pull the dipstick out. Give it an opportunity to get the airlock out of it. All right, so now what we need to do is open the hood up. To do so, you got to pull the pin, pull the gate forward, get down here, you pull this orange lever, and you can lift up on the hood. Now, we got to take this, I don't know if they call that a skirt or what they call it, but it just picks up, is all it does. There's 2 pins that hold it, and that's it. If you see this little hole here, there's another one down here, and then there's 2 little pegs down here on the body that they sit onto. So we'll take that and we'll set it over here to the side. And then we got to take this side panel off because where you fill the oil is behind that. So we'll get that off of there. And this is a 12mm socket that I'm using to take that off. Now, I don't know if I'm going to take that. Dropped our bolt here. Set that there. I guess I'll take this all the way off so that it's out of my way. Okay, set that over here with the bolts so we don't lose them. And now we got to get in here and get this oil filler cap off, which I was just able to break loose with my fingers. I don't know if that's going to let anything else come out. Doesn't look like it. So there you go. It says oil right on it, so it's hard to mix that up. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the filter taken off, but before I do that, I'm going to rig something up so I don't make a mess all over the tractor, and then I'll turn the video back on and show you what I'm doing. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I took some aluminum foil and I kind of made a protector for the axle just so I don't get oil all over everything. Kind of have it funneled down there into our oil pan, just to keep it from making a mess. Tell you what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna climb down here real quick and I'm gonna put this plug back in that way. If I can get it that way, I can move the oil pan over a little further without making a mess. So there we go. Just to make sure that our oil filter actually hits the all right, here we go. So I was able to bust that loose by hand. Nothing, and you can see it's working. All the oil fell right on the aluminum foil and it's going right down in there, so that worked out great. I won't lie, I actually saw somebody else had that idea in another maintenance video that I had watched, and I thought it was a cool idea. So now I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna dip my finger in the oil and I'm going to just add some oil to the gasket. And then we'll come back over and we'll get this put back on. Now I had actually bought some gray spray paint and I considered spraying the filter. That way it matched. It says to hand tight, I believe, and then another half turn. I'm gonna not over tighten it, but at the same time make sure it's tight enough, and I think we're good right there. So that's that. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other drain plug put back in and tighten both of those up and clean up my mess, and then we'll go ahead and get the oil put in and we'll see where we are with everything. All right, so got everything cleaned up, got everything put back together, and we'll go ahead and pour a gallon, which is 4 quarts of oil, into the tractor. Not too fast, don't want it to overflow. Go ahead and put another gallon in, another 4 quarts. Remember, it calls for 8.7 US quarts. Okay, at this point I'm going to go ahead and turn the tractor on. I'm gonna let it run for a little bit, just circulate that oil, and then we'll turn it back off and we'll see where we're at on the dipstick. According to the owner's manual, we should have another 0.7 quarts to put in, but I want to make sure we don't end up with too much. I want to make sure there's not some oil left in there or whatever and we end up with too much. Also, the filter, I wasn't very clear earlier, but it says tighten filter by hand and an additional half turn only. I kind of went by feel more than anything. You don't want to tighten it too much. You could potentially displace the rubber seal. So that's that. I just wanted to clear that up for you. And then also I started to tell you earlier that I was going to paint my filter gray, and what it came down to was time. I didn't want to take the time this morning to paint it and then wait for the paint to dry before I put the filter on. So for, I guess, the next 350 hours, I'll have a white filter on my tractor. So that's that. We'll go ahead and get the tractor running here for a little bit, and then we'll pick it back up. All right, so I ran the tractor probably for 2 to 3 minutes total. When I checked the dipstick, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, it's coming in just above the top mark, and that's only with 8 quarts in it. So we're not quite to that 8.7, but as I said, there could have been some residual oil left. I'm gonna, after I run it a little bit the first time, I'll definitely check it, as well as I'll be checking to make sure that I'm not getting any leaks or anything from my drain plugs or my filter, and then we'll go from there. Something else I did, just to help me remember, but I went ahead and wrote on the filter the date and the hours, just again for maintenance record, just so I can help remember. That's about it. The other little thing I wanted to show you was I did use a long reach funnel to get in to where the oil cap goes, or where the oil fill is, just to make it a little easier, not so sloppy. I don't know what else I can tell you. I'm gonna go ahead and get the side panel back on here. There's that. Those are both on and good. And then we'll go ahead and get this and try to get it put back on here. I believe I got it there. It's not super difficult, just got to get those little pegs lined up. So I think that was it, and then put the hood back on, push the gate forward till it latches, and we're good to go. We're done with our oil change. So I think I'm gonna stop the video. As I was saying, my camera cut out there, sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the first video here, I think, just because it's kind of lengthy. And then we will pick it back up. We're gonna replace the hydraulic filters and the front axle fluid. And then we'll also do some additional cleaning as well. So I think that's it for this video. Feel free to leave comments, subscribe to my page, and like our videos. As I said, I'm going to try to do more videos. I know that when we did the tractor review, when we first got it, there was a ton of interest and a lot of comments and people asking for additional videos for things, and just been busy and haven't had time to do that. So I will try to make that happen for you. So check out the second video and we'll go from there. See you guys.